Members of the Board of Trustees, Committee on Facilities, Planning and Management, please respond present when you hear your name. Chairperson Brian Obergefell.
Present.
Vice Chairperson Sandra Wilkin.
Present.
Trustee Michael Arvanites.
Present.
Trustee Fernando Ferrer.
Here.
Trustee Charles Shorter.
Present.
Trustee Myra Linares Garcia.
Present.
Okay, hang on. Professor Jason Young.
Present.
Great. Professor Kimura is absent and excused. She reached out to me. Maxwell Velacadny, the student rep.
Present.
How are you? Deanna St. Hilaire, your colleague, I don't think is joining us. And Trustee Pecan, I don't know if you're joining us. It doesn't look like it. Okay, you have a quorum.
Okay, the public meeting of the Committee on Facilities, Planning and Management is now called to order. On March 7, 2020, Governor Cuomo issued Executive Order 202, declaring a state of emergency in response to the COVID-19 outbreak. On March 13, 2020, Governor Cuomo issued Executive Order 202.1, which included a suspension of law allowing the attendance of meetings telephonically or other similar service. Article 7 of the Public Offices Law, to the extent necessary Article 7 of the Public Offices Law, to the extent necessary to permit any public body to meet and take such actions authorized by the law without permitting in public, in-person access to meetings and authorizing such meetings to be held remotely by conference call or similar service, provided that the public has the ability to view or listen to such proceeding and that such meetings are recorded and later transcribed. In accordance with the executive order, this board meeting is being held via video conference with a live stream found at the CUNY Board of Trustees website. We are testing a new closed captioning feature today, which you will see on the bottom of your screens. A copy of the calendar, the agenda, is also available online at the CUNY Board of Trustees website. Additional items may be added during the meeting. As a reminder, please mute your audio so we can ensure that everyone can hear. I would like to ask the secretary to take a roll call attendance and members of the Chancellery.
Members of the Chancellery, please respond present when you hear your name. General Counsel and Senior Vice Chancellor for Legal Affairs, Derek Davis.
Present.
Executive Vice Chancellor and Chief Operating Officer, Hector Batista.
Present.
Dean Sarah Bartlett.
Present.
Gustavo Ordonez.
Present.
And Scott Burrell.
Present.
Okay, thank you, Gail. Now let's turn to the items requiring a vote today. Given that all board members are participating remotely via Zoom and we cannot see one another, I will announce the resolutions and ask for members to respond. Only if you would like to abstain or oppose an item. Otherwise, your vote will be recorded as a yes vote. If you are voting no or abstaining, please state your name and vote. Additionally, if you wish to second an item or have any questions, please state your name first for the record, and let's try to avoid speaking over one another. We will take up the following items for approval. Action item 1A, which is approval of the minutes of the Facilities Planning and Management Committee's meeting of November 24th, 2020. I move the approval of action item 1A. Do I have a second?
Second. Arvanites.
Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, we will now vote. Please only respond if you would like to abstain or oppose. Pardon me. Okay, it carries unanimously. I would now like to address action item 1B, the policy calendar. Policy item B1 is a resolution to authorize a license agreement with the Queensborough Football Club to develop, construct, and license an athletic field and stadium and associated facilities at York College. I now call on Executive Vice Chancellor Hector Bastilla to provide further background on this item.
Thank you, Chairman Overfeld. The stadium will be located on undeveloped land behind York College Health and Physical Education Complex building. This stadium will support York College soccer program and other educational programs at York College, while also providing a temporary home location for the Queensboro Football Club, who will be solely responsible for the cost of construction, maintenance, and operations. York will have primary use of the stadium. The university will not be obligated to operate or maintain athletic stadium during the term of this license agreement. And the university will have an option to decide whether the athletic stadium should remain in place following the expiration of the license and development agreement. I'm joined by our General Counsel, Derek Davis, who helped negotiate this deal, and Scott Burrell, who will offer some additional info. Both of my colleagues are prepared to answer any questions. I'm going to turn it over to Scott, who can give some additional information, and then both of them and are available to answer any questions you may have. So, Scott?
Yeah, so just to expound on what Hector reported, this is a transaction where the QBFC is going to develop and operate the stadium. They're going to pay a license fee to York for use of the property, and then York's going to have the ability to schedule their commencement, their soccer games, the CUNY Athletic Conference Championship, and a number of other practices and school uses. There will be some sharing of revenues between QBFC and CUNY from their events. And the other important thing is, I think at the end of the term of the agreement, if York decides they want to keep the stadium and operate it on their own, they can do that. Or if there's a decision that the site is more advantageous for development, then the soccer team would have to take the stadium down and give us a flat piece of land. The soccer team's also, responsible for preparing the land, so we would likely get back a better site than we had at the beginning, because I'll do some work on the land. That's the outline of the transaction, and we're happy to answer any questions about it or how we got here.
One other thing we should add to that is that the football team will be offering to York $2 million during the construction of the stadium. So that's one of the financial sort of parts of this deal. So at this point, we're happy to answer any questions you might have.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes, go ahead.
First of all, let me just say congratulations. There was a very similar deal at the College of Staten Island for the Staten Island Tennis Center, where we bubbled over tennis courts. It's been very advantageous for both the school and the students and the tennis school that goes there, and they hold events there. So I hope that this is very similar. I do just want to ask if we're indemnified against any accidents that happen while they're putting on their events at the stadium.
Yes, we're indemnified, and they're also required to carry an insurance program to back that up.
Okay, thank you very much.
One thing that I do want to add is that the stadium is going to be built in compliance with the guidelines and policies of prevailing wages and participation for minority women-owned business and businesses that are disabled. So that is something that we have made as part of the deal.
Hector, how long is the license in effect for?
Derek?
5 years, Chairman Oberfeld, with 4 one-year options.
Okay, fine. So it's not that long. Okay, I move for the approval of action item 1A. Do I have a second?
Ferrer seconds.
Okay, does anybody have any further discussion? Does anyone have any questions, comments, or concerns? Okay, we will now vote. Please only respond if you would like to abstain or oppose. Hearing none, it carries unanimously. I would like to address action item 1B, the policy count. Pardon me, I'm sorry. Policy item B2 is a resolution to enter into a master energy agreement with the Power Authority of the State of New York. I now call on Executive Vice Chancellor Hector Bastia to provide further background on this item.
Thank you, Chairman Overfeld. The university has partnered with DCAS and NYPA to implement an energy efficient projects at the university under the previous Encore agreement. DCAS and NYPA have negotiated a new Encore 3 agreement, replacing the previous agreement. The Encore 3 agreement would govern the planning and implementation of energy efficiency projects by NYPA with funding provided by DCAS. It would be good for the university to use the Encore 3 agreement as part of the energy efficiency and sustainability efforts. The agreement provides contractual framework for energy efficiency projects, with specific projects executed under task order describing the scope, schedule, cost, energy savings, other applicable terms. Of course, any specific project, task, orders such as that might need board approval, we will bring back to the board for the board to approve. I'm again joined by Scott Burrell, General Counsel, CUCF, who will provide additional information to this resolution.
Thank you. Yeah, the university had previously entered into Encore 1 and Encore 2, which were previous agreements to implement these energy efficiency programs. And these are things like lighting, LED lighting replacements, and they are funded typically through a DCAS grant. And this Encore agreement is sort of the framework where the university entered into an agreement with NYPA, who's got experience in implementing and delivering something like a lighting agreement. So this is really just a framework, and we would have to apply for grants from DCAS to get the funding. Once that funding was identified, we would use this Encore framework agreement to have NYPA implement these projects on our behalf.
And just to give the board a sense of what impact this has, some of the projects that we've been able to undertake it's like removing 600 vehicles from the road, right? From an energy savings point of view. And from a savings to the university, it saved us about $1.7 million. So these projects that are not only funded by this partnership, it really allows us, CUNY, to make his footprint into this particular area and really has a tremendous impact.
Okay. I move the approval of policy item B2. Do I have a second?
Arvanites, second.
Okay, do we have any questions, comments? Any further discussion? Okay, we will now vote. Please only respond if you would like to abstain or oppose. Okay, hearing none, carries unanimously. With no more items on the agenda, I move to adjourn this meeting. Do I have a second?
Second, Linares Garcia.
Okay. The meeting is adjourned.